It's if you just kind of badmouth it, if you downplay it, if you say it's not doing well.
Oh, maybe it's gonna, take
It's a
little
test.
downturn. Maybe we're heading into some sort of.
It's all just a test.
Oh, what's going on with this property?
My cat cannot stand the fact that I'm not paying attention to it. I kicked him off the mouse pad because, of course, he wants to sit on the mouse pad all the time.
We're getting private inbox.
Gonna check and see if this is working.
From
Yeah, I know. I hear the dudes in the background.
Right. Saying not to badmouth the economy, and some people were calling BS on this. They're like, "That sounds like a rumor. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not true."
We talk about the economy all the time.
I love how it says. It sends me an email like live on your channel. You.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I know I'm live.
What happened was it was substantiated.
I'm the one that's live. Why are you telling me?
A Financial Times China.
I don't know what that's about.
A journalist. Named Jeff
Yeah,
Lee.
my videos.
He had posted something. Right?
Yeah,
Me as a
these
person.
are translations that we translated from the Chinese.
And he said in his post, he says, as a financial blogger, I received a private reminder from the platform.
Let's see.
Just
I
like
gotta
a little
test it.
maid secretly whispering to me, Master, please don't seek death. Meaning, what that actually means is like it's like warning you, like don't talk about this, or you're gonna die. You're in trouble, right?
Yes.
So this came from Weibo Finance, the official accounts, Weibo Finance and Weibo Stocks. So again, this is like Twitter sending you a message, or YouTube
like the
sending
official.
you a message.
Well, it seems to work. Watch China Show with me.
Says, "Hello,
Oh yeah, I
Twitter.
wonder if I can do the chat on my
Please be
phone.
Sure to pay attention to the standards of
Not that
speech when
anybody's gonna
posting in the near
chat.
future.
Oh, it's right
Do not
there.
post any comments that badmouth the economy. Thank you for your
But I
cooperation.
kind of have to plug it in.
Imagine the biggest social media platform in a country.
Yeah.
Reaching
gonna
out to you
go-
privately saying, "Don't talk about what's real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't post the news." It's nuts, right?
It is nuts.
So this is what happened.
And of course, they remove the posts.
Yes.
So they'll remove your
Of
post,
course, of
and then they
course.
send you a private message.
Yes.
Hey, listen, don't talk about this.
But then people that were talking about them getting these messages were getting removed.
Yes.
So it created this little quick fire.
Top
storm about
messages
people
too.
being
Is
like,
it
"What are
like
you
two
talking
people
about?"
streaming now?
Right? What are you
It's
actually
this is a
talking
test right here.
about, right?
Yeah.
I got a
It
podcast
actually
on.
turns out that
I've got me
what's
somewhere
gonna
else,
happen is something
and I got
so,
Warframe.
So much bigger.
Yeah.
What
I just wanna
happened
see if it's
was
possible.
It started as a little thing about like don't talk smack about the economy.
You
But
can
then
you
this
can stand
guy,
them talking, right? Because
He's
we live in this like
very
multitasking
influential,
society.
Economist.
Yes.
Right. Oh, sorry, a business journalist. Right. He talks
Horrible
about
buy
business,
right here.
Economic problems, economic future.
This stupid
He
thing
actually
has a
posted this
controller
article, it was
trigger
Wu Xiaobo, right?
that resists you
back
touching
in
it,
the day. They banned
slowing
this
down your reaction time.
When did he post it?
Horrible
It was
mistake.
a while ago. What he did was he compared China's economic problems
Anyway,
to the Great
let's
Depression.
watch the show.
Okay.
So then this follow-up thing happened where this other guy who is part of this like securities company, right, posts this article that's actually pretty positive about China's economic forecast, which is
Right.
crazy. But the headline in the beginning of it says that studies show, based on data, that about over 900 million people, so that's over 70% of China's population, is living on less than 2,000 RMB per month. Right?
Yeah.
So that's like $280 or something, right?
Yeah.
This caught on like wildfire because so many people were sympathizing with it. They're like, that's how much I make, right? And I live in a major city, right? This isn't just some rural impoverished person, right?
Sure.
This goes beyond what China's former Premier Li Keqiang was saying. This is over 900 million people are living on less than 2,000 RMB.
So
per
this
month.
is Chinese researchers put this data out.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Oh yeah, Boltor.
So going forward, this was removed, right?
Why is there a
This was trending.
course.
It was number one.
Why is there like a stance slot?
All right. Here's the guy. So he
Yeah,
posts
that
this,
doesn't
and
exist.
It has some data and some graphs showing this stuff. It's substantiated, right? This is all
Sun and
signed
moon,
off
hell
on.
yeah.
There's nothing in his report that is a new
Yeah.
finding, but he brought it to the masses and was able to put it out there, and people respect him because it's his opinion. This isn't some little research blog now. This is a massive piece of data that he's proven to the world, right?
Anecdotally, I'm sure you can agree with me that we can corroborate this. Anecdotally. When you
Absolutely.
travel around the whole of China and you see how people live outside of the big flashy cities, you know, of course, if you're in downtown Shanghai, Beijing, Nanning, any of these bigger cities, you're going to see the richest people of China
Yes.
in that area because
Yeah.
they'll move to those areas.
Yeah.
But the majority of the people live in the city on the outskirts or in the poorer areas, in the normal areas, and then out in the rural countryside. And those people, when you look at the way they live, I can absolutely agree that they're living on 2,000 or less.
Oh
RMB
yeah,
a month.
much less in some
Yeah.
cases. We'll
So-
cover
yeah,
that in a
yeah, we
second.
will.
But So this guy's name is Li Xunlei, and he is the chief
Can't stand
economist
that.
of Zhongtai Securities. A big, huge group, and so that's why people respect this. That's why it went to #1 on trending on.
Yeah,
I
because
can't
he's
stand
not
the
just some
feedback on the
quack or a
controller.
little blogger or
Triggers.
something. No, this is his profession.
It annoys
Now,
the shit out of me.
later in the article, so obviously people are talking about things like, well, China stopped reporting joblessness amongst youth, right? They stopped. There's all these bad indicators that's showing China's economy having a huge downturn, right? But he goes on the article to say, if we have some reformation here, if we're able to reform certain things, certain principles of our economy that got us to this point, if we're able to bring that back, we could probably double China's GDP by 2035. It's actually a positive article. It's just saying we are in a bad time right now. We need to face it down.
This is the current situation. This is what we can do to improve it.
Right.
That type of thing.
So there's nothing wrong about.
But
what
it's
he
the
did.
fact that he stated the facts of the current situation that got him into trouble, got everyone into trouble, and basically created this huge firestorm.
Yeah. So just some graphics we threw together here. Just keep going.
Okay.
This was another person that was posting the contents of his article. This is how much it spread, right? So
Yes.
even when they removed his article, it was being posted around
Correct.
different platforms.
And this is what you get.
This is what you got after a while. It says, in accordance with relevant laws, regulations, and policies, the content of this topic cannot be displayed. So they really have been working around the clock.
Oh yeah, to hide this
to hide this
information.
information.
Because it's a big bombshell. And here's the thing: in China, the government is very good at keeping people sort of in little bubbles. Okay, very localized. So you sitting there in your village.
Wow, that's
everybody
fast.
that you
These
know
guys
is
are pros.
earning very little money, right?
Yes.
All your cousins and all your other people, even the ones that have gone to the city, you know they're not earning a lot of money, but you know, you keep seeing the propaganda on how prosperous China is. And
Oh, cryotic.
so in your
Okay.
mind, you think, oh, it's probably just us, our little areas not doing very well, or our little group of people aren't doing very well. When you realize that the majority of the country is in the same situation as you, it changes the picture.
Yeah.
You know, then you wake up and you're like, hang on, so actually the whole country's kind of poor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I like what you're getting at there. Like, everyone can feel like they're at the bottom or something. But then when you see something like this, it corroborates the fact that no, everyone else is poor like me.
Yeah.
Right. Over 70% of people are poor like me.
Exactly.
So you don't feel like because when you watch CGTN or when you watch.
Whoops, I didn't mean to
or any,
deposit
like,
that.
State media, you're gonna go in there as a Chinese person and feel real bad about yourself because you're looking at your country with this veneer, this state veneer on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, everyone's rich, everyone's succeeding, except for poor little me.
Yeah.
That's not true at all.
No,
right?
everybody else is in the same boat, you know?
Yeah, this is not like a negative piece of news. It's just camaraderie here, right?
Yeah, exactly. You go into the city and you'll see a Ferrari in you know,
Yeah.
Shanghai or something, and you're like, well, you know, our country's obviously doing very well, you know, and we're very rich, but not me, you know. I'm just from the poor background.
Yeah.
Actually, no, everyone's like that.
Everyone's like that. So what they did was not just this. They didn't just remove this. They actually they disabled the hashtag. So the entire hashtag was removed.
They do that all the time.
And that's how it got to the top, right? I just wanted to show you this graphic we put together. So 70% of people are living on less than $282 per month. I don't care where you're from. I want you to think about what your situation is so you can compare this. Because what China's been doing and something that we've been trying to show people the reality of, because it's not fair to
I like the new melee mechanics they added
think
with
that China has superseded where you're
Duviri.
from, has
Wait, no, it's
superseded
not
your
Duviri.
standards, has
Whispers in the
actually
Walls.
Not only superseded where you're from, but it's better than America. It's better than the American way of life. It's better than everything,
stupid.
right? And the reality
3,000 years in the future.
Yes.
Look at Chongqing at night, cyberpunk city, all this nonsense. Trying to show you, look at our GDP keeps growing. We're so amazing.
Yeah, that's funny.
people in China, the majority are
China recently started talking about how they have this like
You can
super
factor
cool
in any
cyberpunk
cost of
city.
living you want by
Like people
investing
like
in
cyberpunk.
living a
We're gonna say we have a cyberpunk city. Bro, that's a dystopia, not a
Yeah,
utopia.
like, you could spend a couple bucks on a meal back when we were there. You can't do that anymore, right? Food prices are skyrocketing. The property bubble has led to the situation.
Speaking
where
of
no
bubbles,
one's gonna
I'm
ever
making
have
them.
a house. You know how it's bad in America. People are like, young people are never going to own houses and stuff. You got to exacerbate that times a factor of 10 in China because you're talking about a low-quality concrete box made of poor materials that can potentially fall down.
Yep.
That doesn't hold its value because it's in a bubble, an artificial bubble. In a country that has
Get out of
way
there.
too many houses, can't sell them because of the overinflated prices.
And you can't own it anyway. You only lease it for 70 years.
And
That's right. You can't own houses in China. No one owns a home or any property in China. You only lease them for 70
and this
years.
is the reality. And this guy simply just said, this is what we're dealing with. to move past this.
I'm always afraid those things are going to land on me and
You know,
kill
we
me.
have to, again, with the real estate thing, the prices that these apartments demand are high compared to
They
yours.
should have a
I'm
Warframe
talking
that
about
just drops
a small
excavators.
little,
This is
like,
ultimate.
two-bedroom apartment in a city like Shenzhen costing over $1 million.
It doesn't
Okay.
make any sense.
It's no sense. Like a tiny rubbish apartment in a crappy building costing over $1 million, and you are earning less than $282 a month, and you're 70% of the population. How do you afford?
I'm
it?
Naruman. I always am.
You don't.
What?
Yeah,
You just don't.
it's
Okay.
not possible.
So moving on, this gets so much more interesting.
Boo moves.
Because according to state security in China, so this is how bad it got, right?
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, I'm
just-
already a cold.
Not
Why
just
not?
The censorship
Yeah,
board, the
yeah.
state
I'm extra
security,
cold, man.
MSS
Yeah.
got involved.
They're like, we are so concerned about this news, right? They actually put this statement out when they first started that Weibo thing, where it
Yes.
said like, don't post, don't badmouth
Yeah, don't
the economy,
badmouth the
right?
economy. So then so
So what do they
basically,
say?
like the CIA version in China says, okay, according to state security,
I see
and
one.
news of economic downturn is implied to be from foreign sources. They always have to blame the outside, don't they?
You take it.
They're sure. I'll
Crit
do so.
damage is doubled. Ooh, that's good.
Their essence is to use various false narratives to construct a discourse trap and
What are we doing?
cognitive trap
Oh.
of China's decline in order to continue to cast doubt on the system and the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics.
So that's the excuse, right?
So it's not that the economy actually isn't doing very well, or that there are lots of poor people in China. No, it's foreign forces are
Correct.
trying to screw you over.
You know what I found so fascinating?
What?
Is that's all well and good. Like, that's a good way to placate people. They're like, okay, this is foreign bad news.
Yeah,
trying to
the
make
black
China
hand
look
of foreign
bad, yeah.
people,
It's always
Why
like
fight
that.
here?
They always
I'm
say
already
the
here.
black hand of
There's enemies all over the place.
meaning like the U.S. is meddling and creating false stories. So when your government puts a statement out like this, it can placate a certain part of the population.
Sun and Moon is a
I
good
found a little problem with this,
weapon
though.
that was added with Duviri.
I found a big problem.
Okay, what's the big problem?
The source actually wasn't from foreign sources.
What was the source?
Who was it from?
This show, the China show, has the best
It
clips.
was from the Beijing
Like their meme clips are totally unique
Guys,
and
so it's
fucking
It's also a dumb
hilarious.
thing in normal university, so it's not abnormal. But no, but seriously.
My source is that I made it the fuck up. Okay, that's not
So the source
an unknown one.
It wasn't this
the
source.
Sork of imagination.
Sources that I made.
Did I call it or what?
Definitely not that source. No,
the Chinese state source.
that was the Ministry of State Security.
I fucking
Yeah.
called it. My source is that I made it the fuck up.
But telling people, don't worry, this is not true.
This is foreign
the
lies.
economy is doing well. Like this is the painting the tales of China's downturn. This is all bad foreign lies. That's the implication.
Yeah,
Like,
But guys,
this first
one
ability is
wonderful
kind of
that we-
useless.
that was just
How
pulled
fast
from
can you
the
cast
way
it
the
though?
one
Because that would make up for it. If you could cast it quickly.
70% of Chinese people are living on less than
It's pretty
$280
quick.
a month. That's from
Oh, you
Beijing
can cast it
Olympics.
real quick.
That's
Okay,
literally
that's pretty cool then.
It's from.
If I was playing
not
mouse and
from
keyboard, I'd get a
Taiwan.
lot more use out of
No,
that.
it's not from America.
Nope.
This is from Beijing. This is from the CCP.
Well,
the
if I
CCP
read-
came up with the statistic, guys.
Come on, cat.
Their internal. It's their internal.
See, he
research
has to sit
report.
exactly where I am.
So you
Yeah.
you have this situation.
I have a melee set up.
They're just wrong. To go back to this, 280.
My melee's on R1,
70% of Chinese
whereas
people
normally your
stack in
abilities are on
China.
R1.
Yep, this
As
is
a
a
shift.
Chinese stat from Chinese researchers.
It's from the Chinese government.
So casting abilities is not actually very easy for me to do.
To the CCP.
I have to keep one selected
So
and then use the
they're
directional
trying
pad to
hide
switch
their
between them.
own research. You know, we were talking about how Chinese censorship was getting so
And then I
out
hit
of
circle
control.
to
It's
cast.
getting so bad that even reasonable research within China that the CCP
Or
endorses
B
and
if you're
funds
on
is getting
Xbox.
Censored and pulled. Yeah, because if it doesn't line up with their narrative and what they want, then it's just not right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Who did that? Who's got the nuke
I have
frame?
another problem.
What's that? You remember
Equinox, yep.
this? Oh yeah, yeah. I remember this.
China eradicates extreme poverty. 98.99 million.
Equinox
Chinese
Prime
Americans
is
fell
very
out of
fun.
poverty from 2012 to 2020.
It's so hilarious.
I keep hearing
If
that
you
number, 800.
take Equinox
That's
Prime and you
800
do
million
low
Chinese
level
people
missions,
over
you really feel the power creep.
Oh, it's out of this.
Like everything dies instantly in a giant radius around you.
Of China. He lifted the rest out of it's called extreme poverty. Extreme poverty is like
Not like when you don't earn anything.
I'll tell you in a second. I have an actual stat, but
When
it's
you earn
basically
dirt.
equivalent to the U.S.'s standard of poverty would be China's.
Oh, it didn't go as far as I thought it did.
This is what they call like the lowest level. Right?
Okay.
The poverty line. We can
Probably.
call it. This was on CGTN, Chinese State Media. I remember it says, happening now, farewell to poverty. So basically, the leader of China got up in front of a podium and said, there's no more poverty. And what actually happened, we covered.
Mission accomplished. No more poverty in China.
Illegal to say that poverty
That's right. Yeah. What is the poverty line, by the way?
So the poverty line in China is $282
A year.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to be a year.
Per year. You
That's
guys
the
hear
extreme
that?
poverty line.
Yeah, so when Xi Jinping was like, there's no one in poverty.
Take
anymore," that
flames.
means if someone's earning $283
Get flamed.
per
Get
year,
dotted.
they're not in.
Love those dots. That's
You know,
that's
they can lift it
munitions.
up.
Hunter
Yeah, so
munitions.
So the extreme poverty is
What do you want?
$280
Get out of my face.
per year. So when he says that that's
Get dotted.
eradicated, by the way, probably hasn't.
No.
But
no.
that's like such an outlandish
Nothing left to
Yeah,
do
just
except
had to
wait
put
for it
that
to
figure
end.
out there because just
13
think
seconds.
About that, guys. That take $282 and just in your mind, try and think about how you could survive a year on that. Okay, because if you try to divide it by however many days are in the year, you're talking less than $1 value per day. You know?
Yes, you absolutely are. I actually broke it down a little.
Oh, you did?
I wanted to compare it to the U.S.'s figure because if China's going to play with the big boys all the time, be like, yo, we're better than the U.S. and we have a higher standard of living and the U.S. sucks and everyone's dying. 12% of Americans live in poverty, right? So
Yes.
we looked at that original figure that China was throwing around with that Beijing normal.
I don't know what that means, but let's do it.
70% of people are living on less
I
than
would just quit if we fail.
$100 per year.
Yeah.
The poverty
I know
rate
he has a lot of
70%
armor.
Americans are living on less than $1,240.
So why not?
per month, right? This is not even in the same realm.
What is
You
this?
can't even have
Oh,
the same
this one.
conversation.
No.
These are not the same problems. Right?
I totally fucked that up.
Not even close.
No, that's not close.
You look at even just like
Get
per person
shot.
GDP is like 16,000. Like if you average the whole country of China and then adjust it, right, for how much stuff costs, it's like $16,000 per year,
Yeah.
right? America's 70 or 80,000, right? It's not the same conversation.
No, it's not.
Oh.
So China likes to pretend like that it is.
Yeah, I still can't get over the whole $282 a year.
That's the extreme poverty line.
Yeah.
So yeah, remember, 70% of people are living on 282 per month.
Per
or
month,
less.
yeah.
And then to go to the next slide.
We never
break
found
down
all this shit here?
further, The extreme poverty line in China that Xi Jinping said was declared was eradicated is $24 per month. $24 per month.
It's very difficult to survive on that, but if you visited the rural parts of China, you see people that definitely survive on that.
Oh yeah,
You
I
see,
know it
like,
sounds
you see-
crazy, but there are people we saw. You know, there's people that don't have electricity. Right?
No, they just live off the land.
Yeah.
So you know,
Don't
you
need to
live
spend much.
you live off the land, but the only spend you do is to get you have to buy seeds or whatever. And I guess.
Oh yeah, we're
When
supposed
the
to do
local
something else in
officials
this
come
mission.
that hose you down and freaking we ran into that a lot.
I'll be a team
Local
player.
officials
Yeah.
come and get extortion for
Sure.
people.
They do all sorts of nonsense, but you know, people have to literally pass a donkey around.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in the rural areas and
Yeah.
rent donkeys from
Yeah.
each other to do the plowing and things. You know, for a number of days. It's
Yep.
It's popular.
Half of China
Just before we get into that, I just
lives
wanna
it
say a
up,
couple things.
Okay.
and
there's
the
a
other
couple
half
quotes.
is living like
Because
medieval
this got
times.
quotes- This got some backlash.
Sure.
Some nasty backlash from netizens and other
Oh,
researchers.
Dude, like I posted an article on Twitter about this.
It's a documentary called
close to a billion
Tank
people in
Man,
poverty,
a
and the amount of
frontline
people out there
documentary.
attacking it
It's
were
like
crazy.
15
Yeah,
years
and
old
at
now,
first
but
they're
still
like,
a
US
classic.
US propaganda. It's all American lies.
That's MSS.
Yeah, and then you're like, no, these are Chinese researchers.
Yeah.
Then they're like, well, it doesn't matter because cost of living is low in China, so you don't need to earn that much. I'm like, stop changing your damn story, first of all. And no, it's not okay because cost of living is not that low in China. I lived in China, and I did not live like one of those spoiled foreigners who goes to shop in those fancy places and goes to fancy restaurants. I lived like a local. I went to local, crappy,
Yeah.
very low-level wet markets, and I went to the, you know, the.
Do
local
my melee attacks
supermarkets,
get slower?
And I lived in the local areas, and even then, the cost of living, although way cheaper than, say, in America and places like that, was still not that low.
No.
You know?
Now, what I want to say
Sure.
is that from the other side of things, the backlash I'm talking about is not from Wu Mao. It's from people that think this is ridiculous that this was censored.
Yeah.
The average Chinese person is mad that this was pulled.
Yeah.
They're not trying to cover it up. You're talking about like the state apparatus
Yes.
to shut down. The
Yeah, they're trying to
conversation,
shut down the conversation.
So this is what this one guy said. G-Funk said, "Is data
That's a
and
cool
data
mechanic
used by Li
they
Keqiang all come
introduced.
from survey data of Beijing
Little symbol procs on the
As
screen.
long as the article is downloaded, most
The
of
screen?
what it says is true.
And you can do a free
2
heavy
years
attack.
After the epidemic, the economic downturn has become a common problem for everyone.
Yeah.
This is not a person that hates China. This is a Chinese person that's like, why is this a problem, right?
Yeah.
My personal experience, my niece lives in Chongqing. Now, her monthly salary after graduating from college, this is a college graduate professional,
And Chongqing, you know, Cyber City 3,000 years ahead.
wealthy city, is now only 2,000 yuan.
We did it.
And the rent goes up to 1,000 yuan. So her father has to pay her 1,000 to 2,000 yuan every month to stay afloat, right?
Yeah.
But the internship, when it's over, you'll be unemployed and the economy
You know
is
what?
out of control.
This
Everyone
cat.
knows it, right?
He's gonna be the new
This
subject.
person, I thought this is
You're gonna hold this on
interesting.
you.
Said the economy
You're
is
gonna
the
sit
second
here. You're
largest
gonna
in the
deal with
world.
this.
And this
You're
is
the
something that's
subject.
hard to understand is China's got the second largest economy in the world, but people think that that makes it a rich country. But just because your economy in the country is big doesn't mean you have more money.
Yeah,
You
it's
understand?
because of the factories and creating everything for the rest of the world.
Yes,
And the,
yes.
the
Every
sheer
fifth shot.
vastness of the population
Right.
and everything that's being done.
Yeah, when you divide it by the population, it's a poor country,
Yeah.
right? You can't just say, oh, it's not the same, right?
It's like
America only has 300
Pretty
million people.
easy. If you've got a family household, they got a big wheel of cheese.
Yeah.
And there's 3 family members. They got a lot of cheese.
Yeah.
But you take
It's
a
gonna
big
be
wheel
this.
of cheese that's double that size.
What are you
put it
doing?
in
Get
a
off me.
household with 50 people. All of a sudden, you can say, our house has more cheese than
Yeah.
your house, but
Yeah.
the people inside don't.
No, exactly. Well said. The economy is the second largest in the world. As a result, the average monthly income of 964 million people is less than 2,000 yuan. How can we increase consumption and
No,
stimulate economic
don't.
growth?
Leave it alone.
Knows the effective demand
Don't.
is insufficient.
Leave it alone.
Social confidence is not high. The reason is simple. There is no money. And that is something that the government is so desperate to try to hide right now.
Yeah.
Because it's this kind of situation where China knows
What are they trying to do?
that if
Oh.
enough people kind of get wind of this, then more
I hate how it
confidence-
procs after they die.
They
It's
don't
like I could have
understand
used
that
that
if you have
before
a
he died.
normal country with
Now
normal
there's no one
freedom of
left.
speech and normal
And it doesn't
journalism,
even last that long.
normal
You
everything,
can't even
to
reach
talk
enemies
about
by the
stuff.
time you get
It
it
doesn't
again.
have to get to this point, right? If you let things and capitalism take over and trade and open markets and open speech, open platforms, then you don't get to this situation.
No.
You don't. But when you have to control the narrative from day one, and it gets worse.
I guess I should spin that decree,
You're
huh?
shutting down your own research facilities and your own data points.
That's right, and it's just terrible because this is the reason why foreign investors are fleeing
Yes.
China is because they keep clamping down on things. They keep
What do you want?
just being.
Why is he a? Why is he invincible?
Totalitarian dictators.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
You don't want to deal with that. If you're a
Yeah,
company
shut-
that
have to
wants
shoot your tummy tum
you
tum?
know, invest and build a factory and all this, you don't want there to be suddenly a law that's enacted that prevents you from doing business.
Yeah.
You don't want there to be a law that suddenly seizes all your assets because you said
I escaped.
free Tibet once in a tweet like 20
Sure,
years
why
ago.
not?
You know, you don't want to.
Why are you trying to eat my phone?
No.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had some video.
Everybody
Oh, yeah,
wants
I
to
just
see you.
wanted to compare-
Why is this
we're
so
talking
short?
about the economy of China, and I think it's fair to compare.
What's
the
with why?
whole
I don't.
idea of
I hate that I have tangles here. Like, why would I have
Yeah,
tangles?
It's part of it because the whole property bubble is related to this.
Yeah. So if you take a look,
就这个角
Guess what? You're the
完全
subject.
错位了，这下面已经完全掉了一块，感觉悬浮了一样。
Shh.
this is a brand new building.
And that's
Okay.
the base of the building.
There you
Brand new
go.
building, just being
What are we
completed.
doing?
You can hear
Is this
construction
the boss?
in the background. Brand new building, looks
Finishers,
nice and shiny on
melee.
the outside, but if you look at the foundations over here, there's massive
Stop.
cracks all the way along.
这太
What are you
夸张
doing?
了。
Over.
Yeah, I
Fighting.
mean, who knows? But it just shows the quality. And this is like the Chinese
Ow, that
economy.
hurts.
What's
Probably gonna
presented to
die.
the world is this
Yep.
shiny exterior.
看到吧？拿手都会勾下来。
But if you could peel away the wall, for instance, and look at the actual construction quality underneath, this is what happens. Shortcuts are taken.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lie. And this is just a great analogy for
这
the
是什么
Chinese
开发
economy.
商
Look
做
at
的
this
房子
stuff.
了？人家花个
Look
几
at
百
how
万的房
soft
子
that is.
做个豆腐渣工程，你看，这是墙，拿手勾都可以
Yeah, strike now.
勾下来，这是墙。
Yeah, this is a guy who's obviously paid his hundreds of thousands of RMB.
See him do the thing again.
Of RMB, whatever it is.
He's
to
always
get
doing
this
that thing.
apartment, And it's just nearing completion. He goes to
He's
inspect
gone.
it and he finds out that everything's crumbling.
Don't pick at it, says RC Ross.
Yeah, don't pick it. It might just fall down. But I mean, that's the Chinese economy for you. You know, the government has to go out there and warn people not to badmouth it, and that's the facade. You know, you have to only say good things. You're only allowed to show the cities at night, by the way, because the sky looks crap during the day
I
with
think-
all the lights on.
I think it's so counterintuitive for the government to try and send these private messages, be like, don't talk about this. Like, that's so, what does that not show you that there's some alarm bells?
Yeah.
对吧？这是房子，你说要不要举报他？你们大家说，
Is that the tofu
Yeah,
drig?
It's normal people.
That's
They're
your freaking
being
house.
facetious, but like,
Here,
it's a serious problem.
Hey,
throw this in there.
I got destroyed. Oh, this is so funny. Look who's watching her. We got a nice little audience there. I'm gonna die again because I'm not paying attention.
So I wanted to bring something a bit more personal into all of this, okay?
Oh yeah, there are
Guys.
decrees here. Decrees here. I should get
One
'em.
reason why we can confidently talk about China the way we do is because we
See another
lived
one?
and explored the entire country. We lived there over a decade each. I was 14 years, you were over 10 years, okay? So I'm bringing this back a little bit here to about, when did we film this, 2015? Okay, so this is 2015.
then you
I
There's one.
take the volume out because I didn't realize I left volume in there. No idea what we could have said, so, you know. Yeah, it would have been something nice and very.
That's nice.
pleasant. In fact, I remember that. If I put that volume, I remember us saying like, "Look how
Oh, going
beautiful
over here.
the houses are here." I remember that
Yeah, it was actually
because it was different. Yeah, because you know to find the wooden houses in the
Yeah.
rural areas
It's
is
actually
so rare and cool. Anyway, this was in Guizhou, right? And so we stopped and then we drove probably I don't know. Like an hour away from here, half an hour drive from here. We stopped on the
Man, I
side of
played
the
Sleeping
road. I
Dogs. That was
remember
one of the
I
best
spotted
games of this
dude
year I played.
Holding a rat.
It's
okay?
crazy how good that game was.
So there he is. chilling.
I wish
chilling
it was
with a
just
rat
the
and a
combat
rat.
was so good. I would play a game that was
So
just
you
a
can see him
combat,
zooming in on the rat.
just an arcade brawler of just
And,
the
you
Sleeping
know,
Dogs.
it's fairly well
Sleeping
known
Dogs
that people
combat.
catch
It
these
was
rats.
so
These
good.
are cane rats, right? They catch the rats for food. Okay. And then I thought there was this very like nice scene of this grandmother brushing this pretty little girl's hair, you know, wearing
Ooh, take
traditional
that.
type clothing. What I didn't realize is that she's got a rat in her hand too.
rat in hand.
Yeah. Which
Don't get
later-
me, no.
Later only did I realize it was in the footage.
I've got an Iron
Like,
Dome.
imagine growing
It
up
didn't do
with
anything.
Your toy is
Still
a
hit
rat
me.
instead of a doll.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I get it. I mean, but it's just very.
I'll return the
like,
favor. Oh wait, they never revived me.
paints a
There's no
picture
favor to
of
return.
The real hardships that people have to face, you know, in these particular areas. And this is not even the poorest part of China.
No.
Now the thing is, because we filmed that in 2015, and I've shown that footage before, I've gotten backlash. People said, "That's
Where's the part I can
not
hit?
like that anymore.
I got destroyed again.
There's no, they're not doing that anymore. You know.
I hate
It's
bosses
without
that just push you
propaganda.
back. Like we couldn't think of any attacks to do, so we
These
just
clips
push you.
From like the last couple of months.
Oh, and then this is lazy too. Let's be honest. A big wave of red beams that just tells you to take cover. It's lazy.
Which you'll sell or cook for the
Again,
family.
not a city rat. It does show
Yeah,
hardship.
it's still a rat.
Yeah.
Okay. This dude.
We both eaten these, by the way.
Yeah, I've eaten him on a documentary. Yeah.
Okay, it's over.
At least I hope.
Get
on
shrunk,
it.
bro.
I think it was probably just.
Look at how small he got when you did the finisher.
Okay.
Because the restaurant got busted for saying it was pigeon, and it wasn't.
Pigeon rat. Rats of the skies, right?
Yeah, but I was.
He's getting me. What a nice guy.
Pigeon.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I mean
you-
dove. Yeah,
Okay,
caged dove. You know.
Leaving.
Yeah, I know
I
what you mean.
ate rats.
We're
It's
leaving.
on the news.
This guy, by the way, I love his haul. He's got like rats in every pocket.
He's got an epic hole.
It's like, yeah, it's like, hey, we got some rats here.
Ugh.
Rats there.
Pockets.
Literally, this is
Why
a
so many
new
rats?
freaking clip, okay, from this year out of China. Probably from like a couple of
'Cause
weeks.
I'm a rat man.
So the idea that, again, just bringing it personal back in, the idea that the scenery that we saw, and don't forget, we didn't leave China that long ago, but the idea that this poverty has suddenly disappeared is bullshit. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah, I don't. But it's been shut down. You can't talk about it.
You just
anymore.
can't talk about it. You can't show it. Yeah. Anyway, I guess it's time for Wu Mao Corner. Is it?
I believe
Because
so.
I see there's a blank space. So
That's what that means.
that means it's Wumao Corner, guys.
You know, that's what that means.
Oh, however, before we do Wumao Corner, before we get into the actually, you know, this kind of ties in with Wumao Corner. I'll be honest with you.
What's that?
Our Monday show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Let's show you what you missed, guys. Now get it out of here. This is pretty hilarious. By the way, before he starts. 3 times.
You gotta add mud. You gotta add water.
What is this? This is like supposed to be a
What?
TED Talk, right?
Yeah.
The moon. What?
I like how everyone's emotional.
You have to try or you die trying.
Crowd gets okay.
Hey, you're allowed to be bad. Everyone can be bad at music before they get good. I know I was.
So to give some explanation
Yeah.
to that, we have a show every Monday.
Yeah, VIP show.
And that episode was about trying.
Why
on
is that so
foreigners'
tangled?
Cool guys. Yeah, they kind of go to China and they're
Reinvent themselves.
yeah. They're
Oh,
English
try.
teachers, but they don't want anyone to know that, so
Yeah.
they make up these fanciful
Yeah.
stories. And whenever they get a chance, they're on
Always
stage
English
saying,
teachers.
like they're a special
And strangely
entrepreneur
enough, they
Wall
always
Street.
end up with
Yeah,
Chinese
we
wives.
covered, like,
Almost like the whole
stories
plan all
that we know
along
about
was
that.
because they had an
Some
Asian
hilarious
fetish.
video.
And showed some actual footage
Yeah.
that
Strange.
that we took in China.
You know what you'll
Why blurry? Because we
you know what you'll never hear in
Yeah, I know.
a
This
China
is a- this is
an
a
American
VIP show. That's
Chinese
kind of private stuff. You can go check
an
it
American
out.
English teacher in China say, you'll
and-
never hear them say, "No, I'm not really into
If you
Asian
have the
girls."
means, we'd love to see you there.
Never once
It's
has that been
super
uttered by
fun.
one of them.
We just kind of have fun on Mondays.
It's almost like it's the whole
Cover a
fucking point.
topic, And then we have a big Q&A, and people get to vote on the next topic. and
Kat,
it's
you're
like-
not making
it's
this
always a
easy.
lot of fun.
Everyone, you're the star of the show.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Wumao Corner. Of course, this is where we talk about the.
Yeah, this
haters
has to go
and,
under your
all
paws
the
so you don't get
nonsense they
distracted,
up to.
okay?
And this time,
Okay, you're good.
we've
Good-
seen
good
a
job.
very interesting thing happen in America. In Florida, of all
I
places.
do want
What
mags.
you
I don't.
want?
I don't have a mag.
What is going on here? This is your story.
Well, in Florida, the police arrested 3 men who allegedly stole hundreds of gallons of used cooking oil worth thousands.
Used cooking
It's a
oil.
little bit like Digo, yeah.
It does.
You can
Uh,
make diesel
you
fuel out
probably
of
know
that.
By now that in China, it's very common for people to take oil out of the grease traps in the sewers and the gutters, and then they repurpose
Oh,
it.
they
basically
resell
take
them.
used cooking oil, gross sewer oil, and they boil it up and they.
Nova's
add
kind of
things
fun.
to it and stuff
Oh,
to make it
Hydroid's
cooking
fucking
again.
OP as
And
hell.
then they use
go
it
for him.
street food and they resell it to restaurants and stuff because cooking oil is expensive in China.
Yeah.
We'll
And so
go
if you
tank,
buy the
just
the
'cause we know
gutter
it gets
oil, as it's
harder.
called, you
Yes.
could buy it at like a very low price, and so many people use it.
Yeah.
So this idea of like taking used cooking oil
Oh,
is
oh,
very
come
common
on.
in China.
I love that this is Florida, man.
I don't care.
It is Florida men.
Florida
but
We
these-
didn't want you
yeah,
anyway.
Florida men, but these are, Chinese nationals that came to Florida
Still
to
Florida man.
to do it. Yeah, to do this in China.
Doesn't matter
in-
who
in
you
the
are, you're
US,
still a
yeah.
Florida
I
man.
want
Yeah,
Arcoplasmor.
exactly.
It better
So
still be there.
Florida police arrested 3 men and charged them with grand theft after they allegedly targeted several restaurants and stole their cooking oil. The Port Orange Police Department said officers worked with DARPRO corporate security specialists
Yes.
on December 16th to track down 3 individuals suspected of
That
stealing
is
cooking oil. The 3 men, police said,
fair
were
acts.
targeting multiple restaurants in the area during
Well,
overnight
I've never even
hours.
heard of that.
The men were seen in a large box truck outfitted with a pump to allegedly support their operation, in which they would.
I'll take
the
a
truck
Ac
up,
Magnus.
roll
I've never
out the
seen that
hose and
before.
pump the used cooking oil.
I think
I'm
this
having
is
a hard
a.
time thinking of
stav
why
or
this
something.
even matters, but we talked about this. a little bit.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
stav.
Number one, I suspect that this is probably for diesel fuel.
Okay.
Yes, because you can. Then they're not going to make gutter oil to sell back to the restaurants here.
No.
You can make diesel fuel.
Oh,
and,
isn't that a
there are
single
other
shot?
Applications that you can use this used
That's
cooking oil
annoying.
for,
Once
like
they hit
for
that trigger
malls
that many
and things.
times,
So
I don't.
They will be selling it. So they're basically stealing the oil to sell it.
That's a
to process
charge
and sell
one.
it.
They're all annoying.
Um,
Zocti's
Florida-
full
Florida
auto, isn't
police,
it?
Said on December 16 about 330 gallons was stolen, though it's believed
Whatever.
that they may be part of a large organization responsible for thousands of
We'll do
dollars
it.
worth of stolen oil in the area. Ultimately, police arrested 49-year-old Ri Lin of St.
That's good.
John's,
That's not
Florida,
bad.
35-year-old Yixing Chen of wherever, and 42-year-old Leo of Flushing in New York. All 3 men were charged with grand theft.
Oh, that's a big theft.
Yeah, so it's fairly grand.
This
You
is
know.
a grand theft.
Yes, it's grand. You put on your finest
Yes,
clothes and you
yes,
go steal.
yes.
This is a grand
Okay,
theft.
I'll wait.
Not petty like those other ones.
Interesting. They're all the way from New York or whatever.
Yeah, going all the way
Two
there.
of them were Florida men.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Florida
One thing
man.
that I thought was interesting is police added that Lynn was arrested last year in Flagler County, Florida, for a similar incident.
now why
So-
would we cover this? There's a reason we'd cover this because this
Yeah.
is something you'll see constantly. In
Were you
China,
chewing
so
on that
it'll be
cable?
interesting to see
I got
it.
video
I
proof.
just-
If you were doing
I just
that.
found it really interesting that the
Video
whole
proof of
gutter
you
oil,
chewing that cable.
you know, experience has been exported to other countries.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
I never expected it.
No,
Little
that's
taste of home.
Yeah, I know.
China was our home.
Yeah, exactly.
China's my home.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
You gotta understand China.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that one.
Moving on from Florida men stealing
Yeah, it's just
oil.
a bit of a funny thing.
Yeah.
We are moving on to our. Sorry, we're going long today.
Okay.
We're
No,
moving
you're
on
not.
to talk a little bit about our friend Jordan Harbinger.
Okay,
Jordan's
yeah.
show. He had an episode which is.
You
really
gotta
good.
understand China.
And although it wasn't China related, I thought it was really captivating. Jordan again has some of the best guests we've ever had. We've been on a show
Yeah,
multiple
no,
times.
Could definitely recommend a show.
He's got a YouTube channel now, so go over there and subscribe to him. Tell him the China show sent.
That'd be awesome.
Sent you. But basically, he talked to this guy named Oliver Stone about nuclear. Just pause.
It's
Oliver
not-
Stone,
not
the famous
movie
director?
obviously.
No. About nuclear energy, and I thought this was interesting. I've recently been more
New
interested
and
in listening
clear
to people
energy.
talk about things that are a little bit taboo in public. Everyone wants to talk about EVs and everything, but no one wants to talk about the very, very real alternative of nuclear energy, and it causes
Yeah, he
great
sees it.
debate.
Sure.
Now, whether you agree with it or not, I thought it was a really, really tantalizing.
Oh, I
talk.
see the last one.
It was. I think a lot of people are scared to even kind of buck the system. Okay,
Oh,
does that make
sure.
sense? He talked
Got it.
about the history of nuclear energy and the political factors that have influenced its usage. So obviously politics have had a huge play in what we find acceptable. Right. Lessons learned from Fukushima, Chernobyl, and 3 Mile Island. Obviously huge pieces of history that we can never forget. Right. How nuclear companies compared to wind, solar, hydro, and other green energy.
Arcoplasma is so
alternatives,
fucking
and the
fun.
influence the fossil fuel industry.
It just goes
wields
foomp
over
and makes this
energy
giant wave
sources of
that
any
cuts
kind,
through things.
and what a future fueled by safe and sustainable nuclear power might look like. Really good talk.
Good.
So go to jordanharbinger.com/931. Can you get us out there so people can see
Yeah,
it?
I did.
Okay, cool. And also subscribe to his YouTube channel. All of his stuff is free.
Yeah, go
Cool.
check it out. It's very, very good. Still has horrible thumbnails of us, which need to
I didn't
change.
check today. I didn't check the thumbnail situation.
That's gotta change. Otherwise, next time, revenge.
He's got great artists.
Revenge is coming. You have no idea.
Oh, you guys don't know there's a secret China show, Jordan.
Oops.
We're like best friends, but we also beef over
Yeah.
the use of his horrific thumbnails.
Yeah, the worst.
Makes people look like terrible.
Insults his guests. You won't believe it. You know what I mean?
We love him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan, we love you. We know you're listening
Yeah.
to this, but he does have the best. He has a great artist.
Where is he?
though. His podcast stuff.
Arcoplasma
Oh yeah,
versus
no, that's great. But like on the
stuff is
YouTube,
Vavor,
comments, like,
whatever
what
his
are you
name is.
doing?
Where'd he go?
Did you
He already dead?
specifically comb through for the worst frame
Wow.
and then stretch it, you know, and like make the person look like raw pork? You know, I feel
Guess
like
so.
he does that. Anyway, all that aside, we've still got Worldview to cover, guys. It's the last
Oh,
segment.
4
for
people
Worldview.
actually
We've
stayed
got a
this
little
time.
something for you here. And this is where we talk
I mean,
about everything
3
in the
beyond
world,
me.
specifically with regards to China.
Yeah.
And let's get it here.
So there's a new
And-
defense minister in China.
Okay.
His name is Dong Jun. You guys probably remember that one of them was disappeared. The last guy was disappeared.
Look at all these
He
people.
was formally removed.
Yeah.
How are there so many people here?
By Xi's cabinet.
Pretty sure you can't find him if you look.
Oh,
right
that's
now.
his buddy. I was like, why are there 5 of us? What? It's Wukong.
What does this signify? I think in my mind, this is, again, another distillation of power.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing more and more people that were even close to the leadership in the beginning.
That was
maybe
so.
strayed
I
a
felt so
little bit
stupid
more.
right there.
I
I
think,
kept
you know what
counting like,
technology
wait,
is?
1, 2,
It's
3, 4,
censoring your own
5. Wait, really?
research
1, 2, 3,
before-
4,
Yeah.
5.
You're
Wait,
like, I'm
1,
gonna give
2.
you $1 million to do this
Oh.
for me. You do
It's
exactly
a
what they
Wukong.
say, and they're like, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting to that
Took
point
for the
now where
decrease.
the purges have gotten so out of control. And some other channels have covered this in depth. But the purges have gotten so out of control now that there's not a whole lot of people left. And people that were really close to the leadership, that were super close, have been pushed aside because they're not in line with the new paranoia. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
There's
Pretty
one.
crazy.
Yeah, it's awful. It's just because they say something you didn't want to hear one morning. You know, that's
Yeah,
what
it could be
is.
that. Could
It's
be that.
literally that. It's like, oh, I don't quite like this tea or something. It's like, oh, really?
Yeah,
You
so
know.
that's General Li Shangfu. the
I
new
should have
guy
done the
going
reload
through it.
one,
He's
shouldn't
actually
I?
the former commander of the PLA Navy, the plan. So the People's Liberation Army Navy.
It's just how I play Warframe, though. I'm
He's a
mostly
high-level dude that
melee.
just took this defense minister job. We'll see what he does.
Flump.
I mean, this is all.
Flump.
What people say is, oh, they're trying to get rid of corruption within the
Arca
PLA
Plasmor
and
says
just,
flump.
Like, bring the leadership back to the CCP and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Whoa.
What's going on with this dude?
This is actually really interesting. I wish I had made the text a little bigger. This is retired U.S. I'm gonna actually pull it up.
Maybe
Oh, I got both because it goes through. That's right.
Yeah, I want to be able to. Give me a second.
You gotta understand China.
It's very far away. Might as well be in a distant galaxy.
It might as well
Yeah.
be a distant
Look
galaxy.
at- This is a former NATO's former Supreme Allied Commander.
That is correct. But he
Arc
has
Plasmor, so
very
awesome.
interesting-
I put a catalyst on it before I knew there was like a
Stavridis.
Guess what
like
it
a
is?
sister
Sounds like
version
a-
of
like,
it.
You know, like a disease or something you get. Like, literally, doesn't it sound like if you go scratch?
But I don't
yourself,
care.
piece of
Not a very
metal?
nice thing.
I'm sorry.
not gonna
but
get that
that's
anytime
what-
soon.
NATO's former Supreme Allied Commander after
So I'll
you?
just
No,
enjoy it while I
saying,
can.
Look at this guy
He's-
decorated to hell.
I know, but you scrape yourself on a rusty fence. As, oh shit! You better watch out. You might get
That's
Stavridis.
tetanus.
But it just sounds like one of those things. You know what I'm saying?
This, let me
I'm
say
sorry,
it again.
but yeah.
Former Supreme Allied
Yeah.
Commander.
It's a supremely bad condition.
Thankfully, he's on our side, I think.
Yeah.
He's in the part of NATO,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Part
exactly.
of the Western allies. Has said that China will
Yeah.
not be ready for a potential war with the U.S. for about 10
One
years.
character that, or one Warframe that does not need a rolling guard.
Stavridis
Comes with his own rolling guard. Yep.
made the
Ah
remarks.
shit! I got
Good luck.
Stavridis.
We're never going to interview with
Gonna
him,
get
I
a
guess.
Stavridis shot. You know.
Way to like shoot down any potential person we could actually interview. He would have been fascinating to talk to.
I think we could discuss the origins of his surname.
I think we could do that in private. You
Oh,
can do that.
that's
Yeah.
I'll
Wukong
interview him
again.
privately, and
Okay.
this will be the CMO show.
Yeah, this
There
thing,
we go.
The divorce will
it
happen.
can
That one
headshot
thing.
technically, but it has no headshot multiplier. So you hear the satisfying headshot clunk sound, but it does proc abilities that activate on headshot. Arca Plasmor does.
10-year grace period to prepare for the possibility of war with China. U.S.-China's relations have been on knife edge due to military activity in the sensitive waters of the Taiwan Strait by American and regional allies, and China claims sovereignty over the strait and most of the rest of the South China Sea, in opposition to international maritime laws and the views of nearly every other country
It's
in the entire
preposterous.
world. And this is the quote. Even though China is building a massive fleet, even though they're acting aggressively, they are not ready yet, he said. If we ended up in a war with China, it wouldn't just be the U.S. and China. I think that's where a lot of people get caught up.
Sure.
Right. We have treaty allies who are sworn to come and be part of the military campaign, like Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand.
And they would happily do it. Like, oh, U.S. is going to beat up China? All right, cool. We'll hit them while they're down.
China, in my estimation, will not be ready to take on the U.S. in a very mature way for about 10 years. So I think we have a bit of grace period here, where we can strengthen our military to preserve deterrence and also try to use diplomacy and all other means. We have to take the tension out of the relationship. And it's nice to
Ow.
know that there is 10 years potentially on board here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like to think this is happening tomorrow.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I think that's not a good way to live. But to be ready. Right.
Look, I mean, I hate this
Look.
situation because
That's how
lots of
President
people that
Obama
I
started
know,
every sentence.
would ask about, like,
Look.
oh, is it safe to go to Taiwan? You know, with all the tensions between China
Yeah.
and Taiwan. And you know, the thing is, I had people asking me that like close on 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine you could have been in Taiwan, you could have raised a family, you could have bought a house, you
Yeah.
could have, who knows?
I
You
don't
know,
like being on
20
fire.
years is a long time.
Yeah.
But if you were worried to do something because of these so-called tensions, you would have missed out on an opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's also really. I hate these like prediction
Yeah, I
questions.
could
I
do
don't
one
hate
more.
you guys for asking them, but it's one of those things that like
You can't know.
you can't know, but this guy has military like high military background. These estimations are gonna be more accurate,
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's more realistic to say.
I
we're
forgot
going
I'm
to
not
war with China
Frost
tomorrow.
Prime
It's
anymore.
not just going to be the U.S. versus.
It's over
China.
there.
And if
Seem
anything
pretty far
does
away.
happen, there is a lot of people that are on the U.S.'s side, and that's ever changing in the U.S.'s favor, especially recently. China isn't winning no friends in the region. I don't think anyone really. Don't.
No, I'm not
He's
gonna say anything.
supreme.
I know.
All right. Supreme commander.
I know.
It's like when you get the prize coat.
Surprised I didn't see any from up there.
Extra patty, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
This
yeah.
isn't the basic dollar menu.
No, of course
Right.
not. Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
Is that it for Worldview? Or did you
Here's
have others?
Wonderwall.
Oh, there's one more thing? Okay.
I wanted to, it was because it's in line.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to give everyone an update on the Taiwan thing. And some people I see are talking about Taiwan, and I see this on a certain political side, is that
Yeah.
they like to talk about Taiwan like it's no one's problem, and it's just like a regional thing over there. But it is, because if you think about this.
I stand with
going back to
Taiwan.
that thing,
I'm going to
yeah,
go on
maybe it doesn't
record and
happen
say
in the
I
next
stand with
5, 10
Taiwan.
years or whatever.
Sure.
But the thing that's going to make the potential world war.
My favorite
the thing that's
computer
going to make
components
the
are
US
from
come
Taiwan.
happen Is Taiwan.
MSI.
That is what it is.
I'm an
That's
MSI
the
guy.
thing on
They
the
don't even
board.
sponsor me. I just like
so
them.
we have to pay attention to what happens there politically as well. And something that really blew up in China's face, in probably the worst possible way, is that they have been trying to meddle with Taiwan's presidential election.
Yeah.
Like
These meddling
to the tune of
Chinese.
millions and millions and millions of dollars of trying to influence campaigns.
Yeah, and sending.
I would've gotten away with it,
spies
too.
to go and meddle and do
It's been
things, yeah.
it's been outlandish, right? It's been out of control. And the reason is that they say, hey, if let's just say people don't want to vote for the pro-independence party anymore. Remember Tsai Ing-wen, the former president. Maybe people get tired of that and they want some more economic growth. Even though Taiwan's economy is doing super well,
Very
the stock markets are up.
Okay.
But let's just say people want more
Let's
growth.
actually
and they
beat
want
the
less
mission
of this
now.
Political tension with China.
Oh,
We
okay.
can maybe potentially influence an electoral campaign. We can influence at least maybe over the next. We can plant the seeds for the next few elections, right? To where people
Oh.
are going to have
I'm
elected
full.
someone that's more sympathetic to China. Maybe we can get reunification, or I should just say unification. Never
Yes.
been part of China.
It's never been.
Maybe we can get unification through peaceful means by just throwing elections there, right? Problem is, because of all the press and because of the
Welcome.
sheer amount of
Meddling.
Welcome to the
and
Void
the fact
Tap.
that Taiwan's like a 94% on the Freedom House Index, they talk about.
We
problems,
done?
They talk
Yeah.
about the meddling.
2
they
out of
talk-
5,
Journalists
okay.
can talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's
You
get
can
it
have
done.
YouTubers that can talk about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
People are aware of it. People are.
You gotta
aware of it.
understand China.
China doesn't
I waited for that
understand
one
people
last
meddle
time
in
the
a
show was
place.
on, and they
If
never
meddle
set
in a
it up.
dictatorship, they
So I'm
can
glad I
control
heard it this
narrative.
time.
If you meddle in a democracy, people are going to talk about it.
Correct.
So what's happening?
If you
is
watch this with
you've
me,
got no one on their side anymore. So the three potential candidates.
oh, no one's watching
right?
anymore.
For the DPP, you got Taiwan's People Party, and the KMT, the Kuomintang, who's traditionally been much more sympathetic to China. None of the candidates for these
They got the
campaigns
best
are pro-China
memes.
anymore.
Yeah.
Because
They have
know they'll
Starfish
lose all the
Hitler.
votes.
No, I don't think
Because
any
of
of the
all the
show
meddling.
has Starfish
Because of all the
Hitler.
meddling.
It's
And
like
because
on
of all the
a
meddling,
button
it's
ready to
changed
play
the
at all
whole
times.
landscape of Taiwan even worse. Look at these three things. The proportion of people in Taiwan who identify primarily as Chinese has plummeted to below 3%. You
Whoa.
ask a Chinese person who has to follow state media in China, they would tell you that all Taiwanese people want to be part of China, and they all identify as Chinese, and it's just America's puppet state. But people, they want to be part of China.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've been told.
Yeah, but it's not true.
Less than 3%, guys. We're at Taiwanese people that identify as Chinese is less than 3%. That is not a majority, my friends.
Nope.
It's prompting even the party that had the most ardently pursued, peaceful political union with Beijing to do everything to shed its pro-Beijing label. They've got no allies in the parties left.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's great.
Anyone who wins now, being close to Beijing is not on the table anymore. They've ruined it. Young people in Taiwan neither feel they are Chinese nor do they have affection for anything Chinese. Quite the contrary. Deputy head of the KMT. So even that.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't until the war in Ukraine and the war in Gaza that people started paying attention. Taiwan needs to be fair. So I mean, we have people that were traditionally closer to China now that are just throwing down.
All right, I'll go.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that.
Oops.
It's good when people can have.
I actually would have joined him.
and not be told.
I hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
That's why China does so well in Africa when you've got those corrupt dictatorships and so on, because they can just, bribe the heads of state there and bribe the government, and nobody has a say.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, it's time for us to hit our Yum Chow segment over here, which of course is our. Let me find it. Here it is. This is our Q&A, where we answer your questions and you question our answers. It is Friday, guys. It's time to relax. The weekend's on its way. And hopefully, unlike me, you don't have to work tonight because I have a video to finish for you guys. But, hopefully you guys get to chill. and have a fantastic weekend. So let's roll the weekend in slowly with
Yes.
some answers.
What was I gonna
of
do?
super chats. What do we
Sounds
got?
good.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to see
Jan
where I was at
said,
with this.
gave 20 China Show memberships.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, thank you very
That's
much for
epic.
doing
Oh,
that.
and by the way, if you're not
Duels
here
already.
live now or on the weekend, we do cut this out of the show. So sayonara, stay awesome. We'll see you
再见.
guys next time. Yeah.
And Harry Tick as well. Thank you for the memberships. Walt 1203 says this Yum Cha segment of the China Show is endorsed and sponsored.
All right.
by-
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to support
Honorable
this section of the
magician.
show either because they don't want it
It's
to.
not true, by the way.
Whoops. There's
That's
another-
not true.
I withdraw that.
I was home.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I withdraw
Honorable
that.
Matisha.
Honorable Matisha.
He says,
Honorable
"For President
Matisha."
2024 to hell.
Great show. Love it.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway.
I'd love to have. Oh
See ya.
no. News update. It seems like Willie Matisha withdrew from his vice president.